Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vineyard podcast. Your dose, apparently, of fun, laughter, banter, and a whole lot of realness. Karibuni sana. How are you guys?
We're great.
Muko salama?
Doing good. Can't complain.
Good to see you. Welcome back on set. Kungangana tu na kugeria mani, you know. That's the new job. That's the new job. Ni kujaribu tu everywhere. Kings, how are you?
Niko salama. Nadi na meremeta.
Hadi una meremeta. Hata ndio vizuri. Leo tunataka kuangalia kweli kama tuna meremeta ama ni kujifanya. This week's episode is inspired by something it's a thread I'd come across sometime back on Instagram, and a movie I'd watched, like you guys.
Nigerian?
Yes, Nigerian.
Kama Nigerian ni K-drama.
Sahi ni kama hata nimewin kidogo off of K-drama. Sijaona a lot of that. Ninaona a lot of Nigerian.
Afro-cinema continues
Nigerian content. So the movie that I watched, and this is no advertisement or whatever, it's called The Church Girl. And so this guy goes on to marry a girl from church, but then she ends up being something very different from what he had envisioned. Mm-hmm. So as we kickstart this episode is called The Man in the Mirror. Okay. And hopefully by the time we finish, it's a reflective episode of where you check yourself and see really what your intentions are. Interrogate and see what your intentions really are. And so the first question, guys, is to ask you, do you think that church is the best place to get a life partner? Do you think that church is the right place to get a life partner?
Right or best? Right place or best place?
Let's go with right. Let's make the stakes a bit higher.
I think Christians are the best people to make your life partner. Whether you find them in church or not, that's the big question.
Okay.
That's the big question.
Okay. Wacha nisikue political. I see it's a good place to find a partner because you find people who are serving. You can see people. Okay, but again, also it's a place where people perform the most. So it can be double-edged. But I think it's an okay place to find a partner. Yeah, best maybe not, but
it's a right place. It's one of the right places.
It's one of the right places.
Actually,
very interesting. I want to draw it from this, and basically why I asked this question is because you could give the analogy that church is a hospital. Now, with that in mind, would you still stick to the answers that you've given? Because you find Christians at church. You've said that, yes, church is so...
smart kwa hii swali.
Christians are still...
But to actually, I think I'll still stand with, I think church is a good place to find. Or to look for a partner. Simply because you can fake it, but itafika point. You'll either check out of church or your deeds will come to light. And most of the people, when their deeds starts coming to light, sadly they leave church.
Yeah.
You know? But as Sonia said, I think it's a good place because at the end of time, with time, not just faking it is so hard. Itafika mahali, it will have to show.
It's like you guys have not met performers before.
The question, what's the second question?
With the knowledge in mind that church is a hospital, then would you still stick by church is a right place or good place to find people, a life partner?
Yes, because hospital iko na patients but pia iko na surgeons na daktaris and
so kuna wenye wameivia the things na kuna patients wenye respond to medication.
Na labda tu ni homa.
So ni wewe na macho yako and your attention to detail and how well you pray to your God and you hear his voice. Because pia wagonjwa nao ni wengi but you can get a diamond in the rough somewhere amidst the...
Interesting. Now, the reel that I had mentioned before.
Yeah.
The thread went something like this. It said that from the ages of, and I don't know why it was very centered and focused around women as much, but probably Kings will tell us if it works the same for guys. It said that women from the ages of 18 to 27, this is the time where the world is their oyster. And it used a term that I will probably not use in this in this podcast. But it's where these particular women are thinking, all eyes on me, all the attention is on me. I'm the star of this
I'm
show.
at my
you know?
prime.
I'm at my prime. So nyinyi wakuni hala at me. I'm ignoring you guys. I really don't want anything with you. But then from the ages of about 30 plus, you start thinking, no, from 27 to 30, midlife crisis starts setting in. The attention I used to get from the streets, when guys walk and then they turn heads and whatever, I'm not getting it as much. Girls, younger girls are starting to replace me because ni kama,
The beautiful ones are not
gonna
yet
share
they are
born.
not yet to be
Life.
born,
Yeah.
And then now from 30 plus, hey, I come back to Jesus and I take myself to church and I rebrand.
Yeah.
Now I am looking. I am going to God because I want to become a godly
You're
woman.
now Sister
And I'm
Priscilla.
now Sister Priscilla. I am coming to look. No offense to anybody called Priscilla. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for a godly man. Those guys who suddenly I used to reject, now they're looking to me like they were very suitable candidates of a godly man and godly husband. And then now, if I get into marriage, I am starting to think that I came to look for this man. My sole purpose and object was for marriage. Now, things have shifted. Things have changed. Do you think this is a true phenomenon? Do you think this is a true phenomenon? And that would be my question to you, Son. But my question to Kings would be a slightly different one. Does it work the same for guys too?
I feel like the aspect of shelf life is very true. Not that it's not correct. How do I say it? It's what society has made it be for women. So
One of my friends would call it a dating economy.
Exactly. That is a much better way to put it. Even 18 to 27, you see, we are still within the confines of that.
But 27 is
limits.
young. Push it to around 35.
No, it's 18 to 27. Listen to us, Timo. Yako inafika. By the time you hit 27, you already start feeling like you've been pushed. Umekuwa hiyo mkate imefinyika sasa ukuko kwa kona kila mtu anapita tu. Because like a lot of value has been placed on youthfulness for girls. And
Okay.
we have even very close friends of ours in church, I will not say their names, who are men in their 30s and they could never date girls who are also in their 30s. Not even older girls. Like a man who is, for example, 34 or 35 cannot even date a 31-year-old girl. They want girls in their mid-20s. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a man thing. They like men. I don't know why, but men are just wired to just prefer younger girls. So that thing of now girls rebranding and becoming extremely desperate. Once you're now 28 and now you want to change everything, and you see, even though we talk very freely on this podcast, it's probably because we are still in the confines of that 18 to 27. If they bring us back here when we are 32.
It might
In
change.
5 years' time.
Your tone changes. It's now like sort of like you understand that something has changed. The pick me mentality becomes a lot stronger. So you'll brand yourself in a way that you want yourself to be very attractive to any man who is looking for somebody, because now your value started diminishing because you feel like your time is up. So yeah, you had asked me, is it correct, or what had you asked me?
Yes.
Is it a fact?
Is it a fact? Is it
I
true?
believe it's a fact. It's true. It's sad. And of course, you'll have a lot of people now changing and morphing themselves to be whatever it is that somebody would need in that season, just for the factor, just so that they can be picked.
Just so that
Mtu
they can
anavaa
be
6-inch
Exactly.
heels.
6 inch. You're going to the prayer mountain every 2 days. You're number one to say, I want to cook for just everything that you feel would be perfect for a man, so that you can be chosen.
so that you can be chosen as a wife.
Exactly.
Interesting. King, for guys, does it work the same?
The age factor.
Yeah. And also, please respond to some of the very strong allegations that were made by
Sonia.
Sonia that guys generally like younger girls.
Strong allegation.
I'll say to each their own. I'm willing to get the guys who, when they're 30, they'll never look at someone their same age. They'll always go for someone who's younger. And for obvious reasons that she's mentioned. There's a notion of, she said, a shelf life. So you want someone who is still blooming, not blossomed. So naona mtu wako 34, huyu asha blossom. I want someone who's blooming and glooming, you know.
Yeah, ama mekita mizizi. You're more hard-headed as a woman as you grow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But now the age thing, I think, to each their own. There are guys who prefer that. There are guys. I don't mind. I think for me, is personally, if you meet whatever is in my head, regardless of we're age mates or not,
Those
that's
things
not a
don't
factor.
matter.
But for guys, I feel like we stand at a privilege because the older you grow, the more value you
It's true.
the more value you
Dating economy again.
you get, you know, funny enough. And even you'll notice ladies in their 20s will always go for guys. Not for us, you to chase her, because you guys don't want your age mate.
That's
You want someone who's older because you feel like he's more settled, he's more established, he knows what he wants. Me, I'm still in the figuring out stage, and you're like, it's cute, but not for marriage.
Yeah.
But it's cute that. But that's how you draw the line. It's cute, my G,
The
but it's
realness
not.
for me.
But it's not for
Yeah.
marriage. So I think for you, when it looks like, even for you guys, for ladies especially, you'll see they'll always want to go for an older guy because again, it's nature, because they want security, you know, and especially if it's a lady who has reached a point whereby they've figured things out, and I'm still in the making. It will be a very big pill to swallow for her to tell her, go for your age mate. She'll be like, I prefer 35. Yeah. And at times we make it seem as if it's materialistic, but in hindsight, she's just thinking security, guys. I need security. I'm at the age, I'm at the age whereby tunacha kulisana what's your favorite color. We don't have that time for asking, what's your hobby? Surely. Those are the things we want us to discuss, no place. Yeah.
Interesting that you would say that. Now, what I would want to also find out from you, Kengori, is you find that at certain ages, and probably you've come across people and you'll hear that you're told good wives are found in church. And so that is probably one of the things that contributes to women rebranding and coming back to God and
true.
in church like this. And also one of the reasons why guys come to church, because this is what they've been told,
look
that
for good
women,
girls.
Yeah, good girls come in church. What is this good girl?
Let me, if most of the people who argue that are people who are very out in the world. So you'll find these are people who you've gone to with Vasha, you've partied with, you know, you've done all the crazy. So I'm thinking you've seen this girl drunk, you've seen her making some silly decisions, you've seen her sleep around. So when they speak of a good girl, in hindsight, they're talking of a girl who has kept herself. Funny enough, that's the only difference between those two.
In any worship, but
Yeah, because genuinely, it's a who has kept herself. Ni mtu anajua, ama if she's played around, it's not the way he has seen in the world.
Kama ya huko
Yeah.
nje.
But hata yeye alikuwa huko in the world na alikuwa
True,
anafanya hizo vituko hapo, but
but-
now he wants somebody who's kept
But when they're
themselves.
thinking of settling down, you know, most men will think, can this lady actually keep a house and raise kids?
You yourself, can you? Oh, sorry. I'm
You'll
getting
thi-
emotional.
but you see, at that point, you're not thinking
Feelings.
about what you're not thinking about. You're thinking about the person I'm about to bring it in this space. Is it a person who I can present to my family? Let's start on there. If it's someone who parties, I'm for 100% sure from how she will dress, how she will talk. Mamangu ataniambia,
Get this
upenye ulimtoa.
Rudisha.
So I'll always want a person who, because my mother ni mtu wa kanisa, same sampuli ile ija change. Ndana ni okoto ule tu wa kanisa. Juu napeleka msichana wapi? I'm taking to my mother and my father. They speak that language. So she needs to speak the language of where I come from.
Okay.
That's one. Two. I don't know, that is the reality.
No, it actually reminds me of a song that I really like. You know, I cannot mention the artist and the name, but it goes something like when there was a point he says, because you know they met at the club with this girl and whatever, but then when it was time for this girl to go home, he told her, I can't take you to my mother because my mother ni mtu wa kanisa na wewe si wa kanisa, mimi siwezi taka msichana anachoma picha, and they were together, so he dumps her.
And you see, people don't think that's a reason that holds, but it holds a lot of water. Because then again, you want someone whom, and then it's weird, you want someone who has values and can stick by those values. I know it's
Well, you are completely none of you are.
yes, but you see, I always argue, you always know what you want. Sadly, that's why at times I feel bad for ladies who party with guys, because my argument is it's very rare for them to wife you. You'll always be there. Hey, we are going to Vasha, see you come.
Yeah.
That's all your conversations will always be about party. When it comes to wife, they live and laugh. Mrs. home to come. In fact, they'll tell you, Mrs. home to come. Like, hey, siwezi, tufanye nini? Tupelekane wapi? Because in their head, sadly, someone argued, women have value, they either give it or retain it. And I agree with that. Women are created with value. Inherently. So they either give it
or retain
it. So if you've given your value, ilianza at thou,
Inaenda
could
tu
be
iki-
800,
iki-
700. Then for men, sadly, you create your own value. So me, I'm trying to build up to where you're at. Then unateremka. I'll not wife you, to be honest.
My gosh, it reminds me of, you remember what our
Wow, I
parents
like
actually
the
used to
honesty.
say when we were younger? Nyinyi munadhani munatokanisha tu hivi na wewe hujui mtu. You know, when our parents used to think independently on your own. Now it's giving that. Ile ya, wewe haujui mtu, you are on your own. Mulikuja hii gate ya shule, muliingia peke yako, utatoka peke yako. It gives me those similar vibes of where we might be thinking that we're on the same level and same thinking range with Kengori here. But in essence, mimi ndio nina lose. I stand a lot more to lose as a lady, and it's so sad because I find it so unfair.
You're doing the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
we're doing the
You, your
exact
value
same
is diminishing. Him, he can still create.
But him, he can still create
The
his
playing
own.
field is not the same. The rules are not the same.
They are not, and I wonder who created these rules and whatever.
That's the way it is. It is what it is.
But it really just gives you a moment to start reflecting. Like I said, it's a very reflective episode to just really start evaluating and thinking about if really marriage is your end goal, and these people with the things that you're doing now. With this knowledge in mind, is it going to be something that comes to serve you or something that's going to be biting you?
Oh, there's an example that society hates. If you have a drunk father, we allow it. But there you have a drunk mother. Oh, that's something we can never
makes these
stomach.
rules? My
But you
God.
see,
It's
just the way it is. Because but wanaume nakuanga hivyo. Baba nani, but angalau analipa school
I've
fees.
never heard of a drunk mother.
But the moment
You've never seen a guy. It sounds so preposterous.
This, my goodness, I didn't even think when I was envisioning this episode, I didn't even think it was going to evoke such feelings like I'm thinking right now. But then now, just as to continue also, just with the same vein, in this movie that I watched, the woman, after getting married to this guy, she stops going to church. Mpaka the pastor comes, the guy notices, the way this woman used to pray when we were dating, she doesn't pray anymore. She used to tell me night vigil, oh, she's doing what? She's praying for me. Before she comes to my house, the first time I invited her, she said she needs to consult with the Holy Spirit. If the Holy Spirit gives her go ahead, that's when she will come and visit me. And then now he realizes after he's wifed her, she's not praying anymore. She's not going to church.
Yeah.
She started drinking. She started smoking. She is partying every single night and she's coming and she's wasted. And then he involves the pastor. The pastor comes because the pastor vouched for this girl. He was like, hey, sister, I don't even remember her name. She is such a good woman of God. She's on fire for God and whatever. When the pastor comes and is like, hey, sister, you have changed. And she's like, hey, pastor, I came to church for one agenda and it has been met. Why should I come again? I paid tithe, did I not?
No, I see where your
cleaned the
question was
church,
coming
did I
from.
not? So now, my question is really, is this, well, of course it's not right, but just to be able to ask, is this something that really does happen generally? And is this the heart that you find a lot of most women or men, because men are coming to look for women at church after they've messed around, and women are probably coming to acquire some sanctification after they've decided, you know, it's like wanting to have your cake and eat it. After I had my fair chance of playing around and whatever, now I'm coming to rebrand myself because this is a brand that is valued and accepted. Now in this way to come and pick me so that I pick this up because this is the acceptable one. Is this generally what we see? And is it right? Because I mean, Jesus cleans and he saves. See, I'm rebranding and I'm coming.
But I'm not the one who saves you. So why am I marrying you? Get saved then.
It's just the motive, honestly. It's just the motive of the heart. If you're rebranding for a specific reason, if you're rebranding not because of true, genuine transformation, it's obvious. It's explicit in scripture. It's wrong. You're building a house on quicksand.
Yeah.
It's going to crumble at the
when the wind blows and the storm comes.
Exactly. Down, out. So it's just, and then again, you can fool everybody, but you can't fool God. God sees the motive of your heart. So it's not a strange phenomenon. It has happened to so many people. Families have broken because of that, because you are just positioning yourself, but not the way Ruth was positioning herself. You are positioning yourself in a different way. And now here we are. So yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. But yeah, you may usually say, where Mungu tu ndio anakuona. Hata if God forbid it's not going to happen to us, but if you find yourself with a person like that, you just make peace with the fact that God is the ultimate judge. And yeye ndio atakosoa hiyo maneno, because sometimes you find yourself trapped in a situation because somebody perfected the art of performance. And now you're trapped with a with an actress or an actor in your house who the skills have fallen off their eyes, and now may God give us discernment.
Interesting. Kings, would you marry a girl who used to live a fast life and then came and is saved?
If you're upfront, for sure. If I find out within the engagement or courtship, I'll be hurt. Because you didn't.
They didn't tell you. They
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah. For example, let me use a bad example. If I liked men, then I change my waist now. I'm straight. Then I marry. Then in marriage, I tell you, you know, hey. But I believe there's a place of vulnerability and honesty that needs to happen before you genuinely say I do.
I agree.
So that you know there was a pattern that was there before I came in. So am I willing to accept this and go with it?
Okay.
And at times we are demonized for saying no simply because of someone's past. But I feel like extend the grace to this other person and weather it out. If they're able to stomach it, fantastic. If they can't, don't demonize it. And that's why I like there's a couple of the periods. I like because imagine if he found out the wife was lesbian in the marriage. I think angekuwa hurt.
Yeah.
I wish ungeniambia
Before, so that I can make my decision with that knowledge.
With that knowledge.
and then I'll have married you, but it feels like also it brings the issue of trust. It means, okay, if you kept this from me, what else are you keeping from me? You know, and are you willing to be actually vulnerable with me? And there's something our pastor normally says, you're willing to be vulnerable with your body, but not with your thoughts or with your experiences. For me, that's
Not to be a
such
corner
a red
twist.
flag.
It is.
That's okay, we can have sex, but everything else you run through a sieve, and I'm your husband. Okay.
Thank you. Very, very interesting, guys. I think I'd want to probably end this and just go and do a lot of synthesis of this. But generally, I think what stands out to us is the fact that you realize that, like we said, the church is a hospital too. And it's also very important to interrogate the reason as to why you're coming to the Lord. Is it because it's a genuine prompting of, I really want to change my ways and I really want to accept and receive the Lord in my life? Not because I want to create a certain facade that people will buy into so that I can receive something else. Because you will realize very quickly, you will get into marriage, and this is what this person bought. And then when they realize that they got something different from what they had ordered, it starts becoming an issue in marriage, and your marriage becomes very short-lived. So that marriage that you were trying to brand yourself to get doesn't even work out. So you find yourself again starting to go from moving on from a broken marriage into something different. So very reflective, and it's really good to start thinking about it. Even for younger ladies, start really creating wisdom. Younger guys, start creating wisdom from a very young age. And with that, we bring it to a close on this week's episode of the Vineyard podcast. We'd like to engage more with you. Talk to us, chat us up, let us know what you think. Till next time, bye-bye.
See you. God.